I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today we're reading from the book of Numbers, chapter 6, and let's focus on verses 22 through 27. The Lord spoke to Moses, "Tell Aaron and his sons how you are to bless the Israelites. Say to them, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord look with favor on you and give you his peace. In this way they will put my name on the Israelites, and I will bless them." Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. Now this blessing, which the Lord commanded Aaron to bless the people with, is known as the Aaronic blessing. In Jewish culture, it's also known as the Birchat Kohanim, or the priestly blessing. Now here's an interesting item for Star Trek fans. Remember Spock and his live long and prosper sign? Well, if you do it with both hands, you join the thumbs together, you form a gesture that the rabbis make while giving the priestly blessing. So who would have thought that in a galaxy far, far away, William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy would be Jews? And they were copying the priestly blessing down to the half of the hand sign. Now, I'm sure that many a Jewish geeky preteen in the 60s and 70s giggled at the Semitic space reference back in the day. And what I find most interesting is the idea of putting God's name on the Israelites. In ancient Near Eastern culture, the family was everything. And when people had children, the boys were celebrated over the girls. And I'm not saying that's the way it should be. It's just very important to have boys back in the day, I suppose, because boys carried on the family name and they did the bulk of the work. The third commandment is do not take the Lord's name in vain, or do not receive it in vain. Now, almost every time I've heard the third commandment taught from a pulpit, it's been explained as a command against cursing or swearing. Don't use the Lord's name in vain. And while it's never a good idea to use dirty language or to invoke the Lord's name in some demeaning manner, I'm not sure that's exactly what the third commandment is about. The third commandment literally translates, do not receive or use the Lord's name in vain. So when we see the priestly blessing in light of the third commandment, we understand the importance of honoring and respecting the fact that the Lord was transferring his name to the people. This is how you will put my name on the people. And the people who accepted the blessing were literally receiving God's name, and they were committing to be his inheritance. Now, for followers of Jesus, right, we understand that concept of being adopted or co-inheritors with Christ, receiving the name of the Lord. Romans chapter 8, verse 17, the Apostle Paul told the church in Rome this, "The Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God and joint heirs with Christ, if indeed we suffer with him, that we may also be glorified together." It is yet another way that we can comprehend the vast richness of blessing bestowed to those to whom God gives his name. By the way, John 1:12 says this, "To all who received him, he gave the right to be called children of God, to those who believe in his name." I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Check us out at groundworksministries.com.